Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Connor. I'm going to be talking about flying spiders and electric fields. So if I were to ask you the question, can spiders fly? You would probably respond with, well, no, they don't have wings. So no, they cannot fly. But the answer is actually, yep, spiders can fly. And they're able to fly by a process called ballooning, which is also known as kiting. But basically what they do is they will release spider silk from their abdomen into the air, and then they'll take off, just like this guy in this GIF is doing. So traditionally, people wondered how they were able to do this. And actually, Charles Darwin was the first person to, from what I know, record this and observe this, because on his HMS Beagle, he noticed that all of a sudden tens of thousands of spiders were just landing on the boat and getting spider silk everywhere, which was interesting because they would land on the boat on a very calm day in the middle of the ocean. So he theorized that thermals, which are basically like warm air pressure that forms and causes air to rise rapidly, he theorized that the spiders were able to detect these and then would use those in order to balloon. He was wrong, but new research indicates that the spider silk that the spiders release rely on drag forces from atmospheric winds in order to balloon. It's also theorized that global electric currents and atmospheric potential gradients can also help in ballooning and may be responsible for it as well. So the question must be asked, well, are spiders able to detect this in order to decide when to balloon? And this is an important question to ask because low winds, thermals, and humidity are not all enough to explain spider migration. They are helpful and spiders may utilize them, but they're not always present when spiders do balloon. So what researchers have looked at is, well, spider silk has a net negative charge, and the atmospheric potential gradient has a positive charge of about 120 of whatever unit that is. And so I looked at a paper called Electric Fields Elicit Ballooning in Spiders, which was published in 2018. And this paper was the first in order to actually look at how spiders are able to detect these electric fields and if they're able to detect that. So these researchers performed many very complicated physics stuff that I don't understand. I tried to understand, but they basically measured the atmospheric potential gradients on oak trees, I guess, which might be a common place that spiders balloon off of. Then they looked at actual spider ballooning behavior and then compared that to electric fields. They looked at more stuff, and this is with a Trichobothria, which I will talk about in a minute. So the researchers looked at that and then looked at generation of action potentials based on their environments and looking at different electric fields and how these receptors behaved in those environments. I don't really understand it. These guys are really smart. It's a pretty cool paper. But basically what it comes down to is spiders have Trichobothria, which are like these hairs. And these are basically their spidey senses, and they can detect multiple forms of stimuli, such as airflow, sound, and the researchers showed also electric fields. So they tested the mechanical response of the Trichobothria and found that it is in fact able to respond in different ways according to different stimuli, meaning they don't just blanket respond to airflow, sound, and electric fields, and the spider just gets it as one type of sensory input. They're actually able to differentiate between airflow, sound, and electric fields based on how these responses are with the Trichobothria. So the spiders are able to differentiate what's going on in their environment pretty precisely too. They also tested electric fields similar to what are present in the atmosphere and certain changes that will elicit ballooning behavior. And basically what they found is that these mechanoreceptors shared by many bugs also act as electroreceptors. So how do these work? Well, they are microscopic hairs that are also mechanoreceptors, and they generate an action potential using octopamine as their neurotransmitter, which I think is a pretty cool neurotransmitter that unfortunately humans do not have. They are located all over the spider's bodies and are kind of like thousands of ears. Spiders do not have ears. So these are kind of like, I don't know, I guess the equivalent, but way cooler. And their Trichobothria they are all over the spider's bodies, but they're mostly on the spider's feet. And these Trichobothria, as I said before, they're pretty sensitive, pretty precise. They can detect air movement up to 1/10 billionth of a meter, which is about the diameter of an atom, which is pretty crazy to think about. And other organisms that have this, so all spiders have it. I think all insects will have it. And then most animals with exoskeletons will also have the Trichobothria. So this is pretty cool. Basically, to like summarize this entire process, clouds passing over the ground will create static deflection and a rapid change in electric fields, which interestingly enough also plays a part in lightning. And basically, these spiders are able to detect this change in electric fields via their electromechanical Trichobothria receptors. And then somehow, the spiders know to release their negatively charged spider silk in order to then be picked up by the electric currents, and are able to navigate these electric currents, and migrate thousands of miles. This picture on the right here is a Joro spider from Japan, and they have been found all over the US. I don't think they ballooned over from Japan. Ballooning, it's a long distance, but I don't think it's that long. But they have been found in Georgia, and it's been kind of estimated or theorized that these spiders have ballooned all over the US from Georgia. So they've been seen in New England and other areas. So if you see this spider, it's not harmful, but just know that there might be a lot of them because they're able to balloon. And ballooning spiders have actually been detected in the atmosphere upwards of like 2.5 to 3 miles vertically, which is pretty crazy to think about how high they can get up and are able to navigate up there using electric fields. So yeah, this is pretty cool. I'm a little sad that humans don't have this. That'd be a cool sense to have, but oh well. I hope you learned something about electric fields and spiders. Thank you very much for listening.